And good evening, Internet. How's everything going? Hoping everyone is well. Thank you very much, Minxie Rose. Your templates are now reticulated. Most certainly. You can probably guess where, well, most people can probably guess where I stole that idea from. If not, probably have a look at some splines. Thank you, Nightbot, for giving me a warm welcome. Ah, that was from Minxie Rose. Yes. Nightbot clearly is still cheery. He doesn't realise that I'm trying to replace it, but don't tell Nightbot. Don't tell Nightbot. Oh gosh, everything's all in weird places. Let me try a new streaming setup quickly. I think people have been moving my stuff around, so apologies if you can hear all this rattling about. Who's that one? Okay, that's on the corner of the desk and there's no hook there anymore. Oh, okay. That I didn't expect. Right, that's better. You should all be able to hear me. You should all be able to see me. Can we have some confirmation of that in chat, please? And thank you. And yes, do not adjust your sets. This is a Saturday night and I am doing a streaming, which is a little bit...
A new subscriber arrives.
Thank you.
It fills you with determination.
I'll learn not to interrupt Wayne June. Thank you very much for that resub, Codebase Alpha. It wasn't you and no one else lives here. Ah, yeah, you can see and hear me. Excellent. Denormalizing functors. Surely there should be something about mangling monads in that. I'll tell you what. If you want, in the Discord, drop in some of those things and I'll have a ticker going across. We'll make a ticker at some point so that we can have, like, you know, reticulating templates and denormalizing functors and all that lot going across. Let's have that as a stream thing. So yeah, just stuff those ideas down in the Discord. And anyway, for those of you who don't know about the Discord, I think everyone in chat here does, but I might as well poke the button. That lets everyone get into the Discord or follow me on Twitter. You can even DM me on Twitter with daft things like that. My inboxes are always open to your good selves. So probably want to wait a little bit longer to see if we get one or two more people coming in. Hello there, Crow. How are you doing? Good evening, Ancient Coder. Crow, I don't think I've seen your name on this stream before. Do correct me if I'm wrong, because I usually am. Oh, wow. No, I don't want that on my phone. Everything's going on. Yeah, I thought it was your first time. I didn't think I recognised the name here. If you want to let us know who you are, how you found the place, how you're finding the place this evening, you know, all the rest of it, or not, that's entirely up to you. But thank you very much for dropping in. Use T4 to mangle your monads. Oh, that sounds like it would be painful, Codebase Alpha. You're followed to Lana Lux. Yes, I've seen Lana Lux once or twice. She's great, isn't she? Writing a game and doing the assets for it. I could barely write a game, let alone then go and do the assets. She's an amazing streamer. In fact, let me throw a shout out to Lana Lux in chat. Hopefully I've got that right. You're looking for motivation to do your homework, Crow. What homework would this be? Do let us know what homework you've got these days. Is it C++ trying to write bots and things? It was at the time it was Java homework. Fair enough. How are you? What are you? Hang on, let me start that again. What are you studying and where are you studying? Not so much where you're studying. What are you studying? What sort of year are you in? What kind of things are you doing at the moment? If there is anything that you do get stuck on, you're studying computer science, cool. Yeah, ask any questions you can in chat. We're not dealing with Java tonight. We're working in C++, and I haven't personally used Java for years. I'm not going to own up to that number. But it was back when I was at university, and that was a while ago. So I probably don't know the version of Java that you're using. Yeah, you had to take a year of C++. Right, you probably know more C++ than I do then. I've been learning it on this stream for a few weeks, and I did a little bit of C work previous to that, again at university, where we had to write a DNS client in C, if I remember rightly, and that is my whole. That's the whole of my exposure to C and C++. Whether you liked it or not, you probably still know more. Or if not, we'll learn more together. I'm quite enjoying C++, but I'm enjoying it partly because it lets me get away with stuff that I probably shouldn't. Anyway, shall we go and have a look at some code? So, let's do a quick recap. We are working on our minimal marketable feature of allowing mods in this channel, or for now, Minx Heroes, let's say, to add commands to our bot. Now, if we fire the bot up, you'll notice that we have an exclamation mark hi command, which says hi chat. But we don't yet have a YouTube command, let's say. So what I could do is add a command, either Minx or I could do it. Icon YouTube. If I had planned this properly, you would all get a link to a YouTube channel here. So if I say try and add that command, then if we go and use the YouTube command, that all works great. So you'd probably say that we've got that feature working, unless you were here on Thursday, in which case you would know that we haven't. So if I now kill the bot and fire it back up again, that YouTube command that we added, once the bot runs, come on, yeah, bot, it's not gonna, what's going on here? I'm just going to respin that and just put that down to a bit of a shape. Okay, that's now back running. So if I now go YouTube again, that's not a command anymore. The reason being that the hi command and everything is getting loaded out of SQLite. That's all fine, and it's this code here. Except when we add a command, we never actually we never do an insert. So first off, let's hack about at this and say that the close needs to happen. When are we going to do it? We need to do it at the end of the main method, don't we? So let's say we close there. And this is one of the problems with having an open-close pair, is you've got to keep managing those. So we've now got a database handle all the way until we kill the application. So if we use the adcom command, we can do something like prepare a statement. Now, let's get another statement ready. So let's call it, oh, I don't know, add command statement, because that's what we're going to use this one for. And then once we get the command to add and the reply, well, we can do an insert. So we can go, let's again steal more code. Except this time we're going to have to do a little bit more work, because we're going to have to do, this is an insert into. So insert into command, name value, name reply. And I think it is always handy to specify these. Now let's just make sure I've got my SQL syntax correct. So let's not show that dashboard off. Let's go there, because I can never remember SQL syntax. Apparently I haven't used it for a long time. I also apparently can't remember how to type. That's a different matter. No, hang on. Documentation, so insert. Insert into table values. Can we not do, so we can do insert into table, and then it's column names with brackets in. So I'm just reading the railway diagram here, just following the arrows. So from there we go to an insert into all the way around here. We're not bothering with the schema name, so table name is commands. And then we're specifying the columns, and then it'll go values. And again, the values, and that will do. We're not bothering with upsert closes and all that malarkey. We're going to assume that we've got sensible moderators and that an insert into will work. We will at some point need to make sure that that's reasonable, and we'll have it upserts or something like that. But let's not bother yet. Let's assume that we've got reasonable mods. So it's insert into commands, name reply, values, and something and something. Now, the naive approach here would be to do something like, oh, I don't know, command to add, and then, you know, that, and then. Good day, Joko. So, how are you doing? How's your weekend been so far? Normally I ask how someone's weekend's been at this point in the stream, but we're halfway through because I've changed the times tonight, haven't I? Well, I've changed the days. Now, okay, we've got a problem there. Apparently we can't just concatenate like that. That doesn't matter because this is bad code anyway. Would anyone like to tell me why what I've done there is considered horrible, nasty, and if I ever catch anyone doing it, I will do horrible and nasty things to them? Anyone? Anyone at all? Okay, probably because there's a delay. Let me just explain that if anyone thinks that I'm going to allow SQL injection like that, they've got another thing coming. Joko, it's just simple SQL injection at that point. Whether it's C++ or whatever, that is just a horrible, nasty thing to do. You should never, ever, ever do it. Ever. Like I say, if I catch people doing that kind of nonsense in a codebase I'm working on, I shall be a very unpleasant person to be around. So, let's go. No Minxie Rose. Hang on. I can't remember how to type anymore. Let's say that I've got a rogue mod. Because, Fuel Snable, you're seeing something far worse than a raw pointer. You are seeing something far, far, far worse than a raw pointer. The raw pointer, I don't mind. And the find first and all that, that's not the worst crime in this code. The worst crime, I would say, in this code is that. And to answer Minxie's question of why, well, let's say command to add. All of a sudden, let's just replace that with what it is. Let's say I put a command to add of something like that. Or, you know, the reply would work better. So, it's the fact that you could put an SQL statement in here and inject SQL that will just be blindly executed. And I don't want to do that. It's horrible, nasty, horrible, evil, mean, and horrible. The raw pointer, I presume you're looking at this sort of stuff here, Fuel Snable, and I absolutely agree with you. We are using SQLite 3, and we are using no wrapper libraries around it yet. So yes, the SQLite 3 API is just a pure C API. So yeah, there's horribleness. We will tidy this up. We will tidy this up in a few interesting ways, I think. But yeah, at the end of the day, I will make the XKCD joke because XKCD is far too close to the real world. And anyone that knows the person on here, I think he streams as well, Robert Tables, will probably understand this. But there's the old XKCD comic. Yeah. And it really is a case of, you know, that this bit here is something such that you can inject SQL and do all sorts of nasties. And there are ways built into most SQL databases to stop that. SQLite has one. It's called using, well, it's parameters. It's parameterized queries, and you bind to them. So let's have a look at binding in here. Let's have a look again at the C interface. The introduction to, because we don't need anything more. This is where we bind. So the parameter may match one of those templates. So I like that format. I like the colon something format because we can be explicit there. So let's say instead of command to add, let's go name, and instead of having that nonsense, let's go reply. I don't know if we'd normally have that in all uppers or lowers or what the normal casing is for it, but these are now parameters, at which point we will bind something to them. Let's have a look at the bind function. So bind text is what we're going to use. Let's just grab that and have a look at what we get. To at least throw it in here. So it takes a statement. That's cool. Let's give it that. I don't know what everything else is, so let's have a look at what it's going to say to us. Okay, have we got anything of interest? So the int is, hang on, so points to the SQLite 3 statement. Cool. Set one is the index of the parameters to be set. Okay, so the index for those is whatever. So we've still got to do this by numbered indexes, although we can look them up using bind parameter index. Well, let's not bother. Let's just remember that we've got these in order for now. So that's going to be 1. Why is... Oh, hang on. Let me just go and do that. So here the const char pointer, I suspect. The third argument is the value to bind to the pointer. Cool. So that's going to be, in this case, command to add. What's the fourth parameter claiming to be? That is another int. So parameter 4 is going to be, if people can beat me to it, that's cool. Oh, number byte. Cool. So that's going to be command to add dot length. And then the fifth parameter is going to be a destructor. SQLite static. Yeah, let's go with SQLite static. Let's say that it's in a static unmanaged space. Yes, Minxie Rose, I think you're right. It is. Definitely time to play the oven. Or transient. Let's say transient for this. So let's say we have a special value there. Now this is only moaning because we can't convert from a stud string to a const char star. Cstra should fix that. So we've bound that command up. Cool beans. Now that we know the interface for that, let's bind to the second argument, the reply. So we've bound those. So make a statement, prepare it, bind it, we need to commit it somehow. And that, I suspect, is going to be the job of step again. So yeah, advance one to the next result row or to completion. And it has a very, very simple API in that it's just a case of going step and then passing in the statement that we're stepping. Cool. So if I open up our database browser, let's open, oh, come on, tell me it's got a recent thing in it. That'll do. Evening, FP Jester, how are you doing? So we've got High and Ray call in there now. Now, I reckon that, I mean, we'll stick a breakpoint there as well, just to make sure that everything binds right. There are build errors. Where are my build errors? What am I messing up? Add command statement. Does that need to be an address? Oh, hang on. I set the wrong thing there anyway, didn't I? Do we rebuild that? Is that now going to play nicely? It is. Okay, so Hubblebot's online. If I go add com, I'm not going to make you wait for me to type the whole thing out because I can get rid of it anyway, but add com foobar. So the add command statement is let's do that. Can I see what it's pointing to? Or is it just a handle? It's just a handle, isn't it? Okay. So let's see what happens when we step that. Let's now see if in the DB browser, if I do a refresh in here, yes, that's been added. So we've added that nicely and we can continue on happily. If I go bang foo, the bot responds with bar. That's exactly what we wanted. However, we've now got a design issue that I think needs looking at reasonably sharpish. We have, I'm not too bothered about reliance on SQLite necessarily, but everything here is peppered with persistence code, with SQLite 3 binds and whatever. Maybe we should look at wrapping SQLite 3 up somehow. So first thing I'm thinking is that this probably does need to go in a class. And should we do this properly from the off and go add class command repo, or actually call it command repo-lite. I can't type tonight, can I? What's it? Let's claim it's a command repository, because I think eventually it's going to become one. Let's not mess about with it just being an SQL wrapper. Although we could be using the same connection for other things. We'll deal with that when it comes to it. I could mess about with this for hours on end, and I'm not going to. Okay, so, well, what do we want to do when we're creating a command repository? Well, public before private, we'll do that. Private. One thing I do know is that we are going to want an SQLite connection in here, aren't we? Because I don't see why we are keeping that handle about the place when we don't need it. We're only using it in relation to SQLite 3 stuff. Now, okay, standard include there. Have we got that in our precompiled headers? Because I feel like that should be a precompiled one. We haven't. We have now. Why is that? Okay, that was me hitting wrong shortcuts. So let's have that in the precompiled headers. I think I'm using precompiled headers right here, on the grounds that that one's not going to change. What was the unknown error that's occurred? Rebuild, please. Okay, it's doing a slow rebuild. That's sensible, I think. Why has that got an unknown error occurring though? I mean, yes, I know we've got things to deal with. Okay, that should have fixed itself. So when we're creating a command repository, what do we need to have? I say that we probably need a file name. Because we need a database file from somewhere. And we'll drop that in the header to make that work. Cool. Let's just suggest that we do something like this. Address of DB handle there. And yeah, we've already created the DB handle. That's cool. And then for the destructor, we can just kill off the close. SQLite 3 close. And again, pass it the DB handle. Oh dear, dear, dear. I'm just seeing a whisper. That's interesting, Minxie Rose. That we can deal with at some point. FP Jester, do I recommend any coding conventions or meetups in the UK? Unfortunately, I don't know of any particularly good ones. For reference, I'm based in the North Midlands. There's a couple of reasonable ones. There's Manchester's got an F# meetup that happens, or a functional programming meetup. I don't know what where's it's got. Birmingham's got. DDD's probably not a bad one, Surly Dev. By the way, hi and welcome to the channel. Problem is, am I right in thinking they're based in like the big cities? Are they based in somewhere like London? DDD Southwest has just gone by. Yeah, I don't know if we've got a DDD anywhere close to where I might be. Well, that's nothing to do with our stuff. Hull, Bristol, Reading, Nottingham. Okay, so the Nottingham one might be of interest. DDD East Midlands. Yeah, that one is probably close enough to me. Tickets are free, hosted on a Saturday. Surly Dev, thank you very much for that. I am going to stick that in my calendar after the stream. Surly Dev, can you do me a massive... Oh, tickets are gone. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, that's a shame. What else is there? There's North. And there's Wales. What's the North one? Where does this get hosted? Leeds is accessible enough. Wales is... Whereabouts in Wales are we looking? Swansea. So the Swansea one's not really a goer. Let's follow these guys in the... over here. Well... you must have an access code. Okay, let me do this. DDD North has been in Hull, Sunderland, Bradford. Do you know what? This is quite nice to know that even though some of those are not accessible to me, really, that there is more stuff in the North than there is in... than I thought there was. You know, that everything's not as London-centric as it used to be. That's really nice to know. We need to... we definitely need that kind of thing in the Discord. Surly Dev, would you be interested in joining our Discord server if I prod that button and posting some links up? Because I really don't know much about this kind of thing. Yeah. It's a shame I've missed the call for speakers and stuff for this, because I might have actually done one. Are these guys on Twitter? And do tell me there's a Twitter for DDD East Midlands. Surly Dev, I'm based sort of between Birmingham and Manchester. and kind of about as far from Nottingham. I'm about 45 minutes to an hour from Manchester, Birmingham, Nottingham, Derby. Trying to think of other places reasonably close. Chester on the other side. I'm really between all of those. So, Liverpool's accessible for a day thing. A lot of places are accessible for day things that aren't really accessible for evenings. I wouldn't drive all the way to Chester over an hour just for an evening meetup, and then driving straight into the middle of Manchester is difficult for an evening meetup, and trains back from Manchester are tricky because I've done it for the F-sharp one up there. And it's cool, but unfortunately difficult to get to and from because trains just don't run late enough. I had to go out of the meetup straight to the station. I couldn't exactly nip and sort of socialise afterwards. It was a high pressure thing, and I had to sort of leave work early and all the rest of it. I've been to it once, Surly Dev. There was a type providers talk on up there, and yeah, I didn't manage it. Someone tried to grab me and sort of say, "We're all going this way," and I'm like, "I need to get on a train. I can't stay." Yeah, we need to. For those in the UK, join the Discord. Let's have a little look at sort of starting to meet up, especially if you've got people around the northwest-ish, Midlands-ish area. If we can meet up for a day rather than, like on a Saturday or something, I can take a Saturday and meet up with everyone. And yes, I know, Minxie Rose, I went to South Wales to play a card game. I can get there. But don't forget, I got there on the train and managed to get hotel rooms very, very cheap. And it was card game. It wasn't programming. And yeah, I scrolled past that Twitter link. That Twitter link was not obvious. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. That is not obvious. Ancient Coders in the West Midlands. Do you know, I'm starting to think more and more that this idea of us meeting up in the West Midlands area or in the Northwest area, or actually because everyone's kind of either in the West Midlands, or a lot of people are in the West Midlands, a lot of people are in the Northwest from here. I do just wonder if meeting up in essentially my home city is the right answer. Apart from the fact it makes my life easy. But, everyone jump on that Discord. I'll even throw a chat. If people remind me on Discord to throw a channel up about a meetup, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's have a laugh. Anyway, let's unwind the stack a little bit because we're still at the point. Well, we've actually got done what we needed done technically. Northeast of Birmingham would be 2 hours drive for you. Surly Dev, what say about 40 odd minutes north of Birmingham? Because that's where I am. I mean, I don't mind doing one if there's demand for it, I'll do one kind of Birmingham way, one Manchester way. I just want to meet up with more than 1 or 2 people. If 4 or 5 of us could meet up in each of those. Even if it's the same, even if 3 or 4 of us are the same people, I'd be well up for that. And yeah, Twitch is great for that kind of thing. Cool. So we've got some interesting times. So we've got something built. Let's close that DB handle as well. And now we don't have to. We don't need the address there. So now, if we go to main.cpp, we haven't really got to prat about killing that DB handle, have we? Because we can just go, what do I call it? Command repository. Repository. This snake case is weird to me. Oh, we haven't. I'll type it all out. No, Control Z. Command repository. Repo. And I called it Hubble bot.db. Let's make sure I've typed that correctly, shall we? And I believe I have. We'll include the header file, as we have done. If result is naught, so of course, we've got this whole it might fail on the constructor. So what is this going to do in a constructor fail? Essentially what we can now do is kill that SQLite 3 close. We'll comment that out. Let's assume that everything's going to work and we'll build some error handling in at some point. That's probably the best way. So now we've again got another issue. Let's see, where's result? Oh yeah, result was declared up here, and we've kind of gotten rid of it. So, in result, and I really can't type on a Saturday. Does anyone wonder why I don't stream on Saturdays? It's because I'm even worse on a Saturday than most days. Why is that reinterpret cast still there? I thought we'd done something to get rid of that, or is it it's a reinterpret cast the other way around, isn't it? Or did we just not get rid of them? Pain-driven development. I'm remembering that we've got it there. I think it's more a case of usage-driven development on this one, Surly Dev. We'll build it in once we have the problem. We know that we're going to have the problem. Let's not kid ourselves. Just that right now, I'm more interested in getting this working before I'm too interested in going up the ivory tower of architecture. So our next problem is we haven't got a handle. That's fine. For now, I'm going to make that public. That will change back to being private. But I just want to make sure, one step at a time, that this works. And then obviously we'll go back and we'll say that we're looking for the repo.db handle. There. Is there anything else that's moaning? Yes. Repo.db handle. So that's the first minor cleanup. It's not much of a cleanup, but hey, we're not asking for miracles. Let's delete that record. So bang foo shouldn't work, except no. Oh, it did? Oh yes, because we I need to respin this because we got past that point. So bang foo shouldn't work. Did I not commit? I didn't commit changes, did I? So let's have another go. Now, normally, as a YouTube person, I would edit this out before going on YouTube, and it would look professional. As someone that's met me before, though, you'll probably know that I'm not going to edit any of this. So bang foo doesn't work as expected. So let's go add com ping pong, and then bang ping comes up, and it pongs. And yeah, it works for everybody. That's cool. So we've got that bit working. I think we're happy to say that that works. However, we've now got a bit of an issue. We've still got... sorry, Crow, I just killed the bot before you got there. So you know what? In the bot's place, I'm going to type the pong for you. Just so you don't feel put out. So, we've now got a command repository there. However, we've still got a raw pointer. Now, how are we going to get rid of that? Yeah, this is a pointer. It's a single SQLite database is represented by that. What say we try and make that a standard unique pointer? And Fuel Snables come in with exactly the same idea. Is that still going to work, or am I going to have problems? Well, there's your first issue. No conversion from a unique pointer to that exists, and we still need to grab the address. So what can we do here? Can we get the address? Well, we can get that, can't we? We can use a .get. Apparently. Can we not? Let's address that lot. Is that going to work? Apparently not. Fuel Snable, you've created a small helper class that helps you avoiding creating too many helper classes. Let's have a look at this. To be honest, I think we're still going to create the helper class manually, just because sometimes it's nice to learn and nice to learn from scratch. But we're definitely going to have a look at things here. So we've got a namespace, we've got a template with a T action in it. We've got no accept, I need to remember that. We're getting rid of things. I keep forgetting to get rid of copy constructors and the like. I need to learn about what each of those are, because they look like we need to get rid of them with our stuff as well. On exit, forwards it. So we're creating little cleanup functions. So it's essentially a defer syntax by the looks of it. Is that what is this essentially us going defer the close until the end of scope? Or until an exit point? Where does on exit get called? Because there's got to be a point at which that gets called, hasn't there? Yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at, I think. And it's done with the scope guard, I think. Can't see where on exit actually. No, we call on exit. Sorry, and the destructor is called on the closure of the scope. The destructor being there, which we invoke the action. The action is, of course, whatever we passed in. Yeah, that makes sense. On exit, returns a scope guard with a decay and a forwarded action of the action that we pass in. Okay, I think that makes sense, actually. I think that makes some semblance of sense. I think if we build up, we will probably end up writing a class similar to this at some point in our careers. I just think, let's go from scratch. I think you're right there as well, Fuel Snable. Let's carry on with what we're doing. So, we've now got the issue. Okay, so what does that do? That get does exactly what we want. It's just passing the address of that is going to be tricky. So, how do we get the address of a standard unique pointer? Let me go and have a look at CPP reference again. Because as much as I'm not sure if I like this, well, I haven't liked this website much in the past. I think I need to get to know it. I think it's one of those where it's going to be too handy to not know. Unique pointer. And let's do that. So it's a smart pointer that owns and manages another object through a pointer and disposes of that object when it goes out of scope. It's exactly what we want. So what can we do? We can get, which returns the pointer. We can use the star or the arrow on it. Do we want to do that? What I want is an address to that pointer at times. Or am I not even supposed to have that? Yeah, the class also contains things you might think are interesting, like accepting the value in the constructor and moving it into the member. When you say moving, are you talking similar syntax to... Well, here we are. Here's an example. Unique ownership semantics demo. So we're making a unique pointer there. The tones are D. Auto Q is a pass-through of standard move P. So moving syntax, moving is very similar to how it is in Rust, by the looks of it. I think either this got it from Rust or Rust got it from this. I'm not sure which. But this just looks like us doing similar things to Rust, to some degree. Okay, so there's a reference to close file there. Where was close file? Yeah, they're similar. I would imagine so. Essentially, Fuel Snable, I don't know how much Rust you know, but if I pass a value into a function and then try to refer to it by name again, the Rust compiler goes, you've moved that value, you haven't got it anymore. So it's the idea that only one thing is allowed ownership at a time. So unique pointer of file, decal type, close file. So why are we passing two types into unique pointer all of a sudden? Oh, we pass a deleter in. Okay, except we're not bothering. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it, FuelSnable. By the looks of it, very much so. So the second's the deleter. So the question still comes, how do we, from a unique pointer, grab the address of it? Because I still need the address. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't. I really wish I didn't need that address, but apparently I do. And apparently I'm not allowed to do that, which makes sense. Well, it doesn't. I mean, it's still SQLite 3 star, which is exactly what we were expecting. So get does return the pointer. So what's going on here? Get returns a pointer to the manage object or null pointer, if not allowed. And then you release it. If any get calls, return. Oh. Okay. So we're making a new foo there. We release it. And of course it's no longer owned. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's see if we can do something here about going auto. No, handle equals that. Then we'll say address of handle. So it's happy with that, it just wasn't happy with us doing it in line. The problem is that's now a raw pointer, even though it doesn't think it is, even though it doesn't look like one. This looks dodgy because all this actually is a raw pointer. FuelSnable doesn't think that this does what we want it to do. Does it copy? Do you know what? Let's see if it does what we want. Now we need to reset the unique pointer using the retrieved pointer. So, it's copied. Oh, so db value, db handle, sorry. We need to reset it to that. So actually, that doesn't have to be the db handles get, really, but it can be. So we're copying a pointer, we're assigning to it, and then we're sticking it back where it belongs. So does that even need to be there? Or do we just do that? Let's give this a go. Let's see if we've managed to, at least internally, only use unique pointer. And of course we haven't, because everywhere here needs to be a get. We will get rid of these at some point, I'm sure. But for now, let's see if we've at least done something reasonable. Use some undefined type and can't delete an incomplete type. So we have to pass a deleter of some description, don't we? Well, given that, wouldn't the... Well, first off, wouldn't the deleter then be... I mean, we can't use that as a delete thing. Let's have a look at custom deleters. So it's either standard default delete, which we don't have by the looks of it. So we need to delete it another way. Deleter must be a function object or an L value reference to a function object or an L value reference to a function, callable with an argument of the type unique pointer tDeleter pointer. So that is actually, oddly enough, just SQLite 3 close. Which is apparently not a name, so have I messed this up? SQLite 3 close. It's not a type name. So a function object or an L value reference to a function. All pointers to functions. What is a pointer to a function? Oh, just the address of. In theory. No, it's still moaning at me. Expecting a type parameter. Okay, so yeah, that is a function pointer, simple as that, isn't it? Yes, I know it's not a type name. How do I make a function object, though? This is the question. Functions and references to functions are not function object types, but can be used where function object types are expected due to function to pointer implicit conversion. Stud function. And now that requires a type, doesn't it? I need to remember how to use stud function. I need to remember the order in which everything goes in. Is it parameters then result or result then parameters? It is... Then parameters, okay. It's return then parameters, cool. So that needs to be an int and a SQLite 3 star. Though apparently it doesn't. Let's have a look at usages again. Oh, of course. C++ people. You do that. But SQLite 3, and it's now saying that it wants a closing bracket somewhere. This is getting very confusing now. I think my brackets match. What is he moaning about with my brackets not matching? Because that matches that. That and that match. That and that match. That matches that. Am I not matching brackets? Am I really goofing like that? Or have I got to do a cast to a standard function or something daft like that? Do you know what? Let's assume that that's correct. That then means that we've got problems all over here. Is there a comma missing, asks Joko. I can't see where there would be a comma missing. The only other thing I can think is do the stupid SQLite cast. But that's never going to work, is it? No, not in a month of Sundays. And to just declare that as a type isn't right. Expected, yeah, because it would expect that, which is complete nonsense. Okay, how is that a thing? So that is apparently the deleter. That makes no sense. Deleter equals SQLite 3 close. And that all of a sudden is not a type name. Hang on. Have I got the syntax completely wrong here? Is it that? And then do we go, let's have a look at passing custom deleters again. Because I might have messed this up. Let's have a look. Is there anything here with a unique pointer of deleters? Oh, decal type. Ah, that's the thing. Right, so what's... Why don't we just do that? Decal type of the address to SQLite 3 close, which is cool. And then DB handle has to take it has to take a, so you have to also initialize the SQLite 3 inside, don't you? So in this it's standard file open. For us it's just going to be, I don't know. I want to make unique. Does make unique take a deleter of any sort? Nope. Well, actually, what about make unique? Would that work for us? Today. So it now needs to be a new SQLite 3. And of course, make unique is not a type name, and yada yada yada, because this isn't going to be nice to me. And it just wants an SQLite 3. It doesn't want the pointer. Okay, Fuel Snable's created a small example of smart out pointers. Again, the problem is we're working with someone else's API here. Let's go from that. Let's carry on our line of going, well, that is standard open and whatever. Have I got to start using new somewhere? Have I got to do the stupid and go new SQLite 3? Okay, so it's happy with that now. Why is it not happy with the address to close like that? How do you create an SQLite 3? Literally, all we've done in the past. No, we don't. We just go SQLite 3 and then we pass it through to open. Literally, you create one as if it were I think it is a struct. It's a struct. It is, all it is basically a handle. It's nothing interesting. And then we create it using the okay, but how do we then close it? How do we tell it what that deleter is? Fuel Snable. Or do we just not bother and ignore the fact that that exists entirely? That's the only other thing I can think of. That's now moaning because no default constructor exists for the class standard unique pointer of whatever. So we need to create it somewhere, don't we? So db handle equals, well, what do we set this then? Because at this point we need to set things, don't we? Because until we do, we can't. Well, how do we construct it? Because we need it to be constructed at some point. So we're in the handle. db handle hasn't been properly defined yet. So how do we assign, what are we assigning to it? Because it can't just be that, because we need to specify the handle as well, don't we? This is where I'm going, and then pass in all of those. Is this what we do? Do we then go handle and the address of SQLite close? Which is apparently undefined, which not convinced I agree. In fact, I'm very convinced it does exist because it's there. So yeah, we need the deleter. But it's now, oh, SQLite 3. Might be a reason that apparently didn't exist. So is this what we're suggesting? And then we don't need to reset because we've just done that. This is now moaning that no default constructor exists for that. Is that now still a problem? Or is Visual Studio or is MSVC being annoying? No, we've got no appropriate default constructor available. So how do we do this without a default constructor being available for DB handle? Do we have to set it null here explicitly? Or do we have to find some way of deferring that creation? No default constructor exists. C++. And so you have to supply it when you define the object at that point. So do you have to assign? You have to define and declare an object at the same time. Define an object at the same time that you declare it. You're currently feeling very happy that you only use managed languages, Joko. To be honest, I don't think it's a language thing. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a struct with a unique pointer. We've seen this style before, which returns that, and then hello takes a file. So what you're saying is we declare one there. I see where this goes. This kind of, yeah, this could work. So yeah, we've got to use a helper function to create the object, and then we just call it from the constructor. We initialize the member with it. But again, we can't initialize the member until we've gone through the constructor. We have to go through the constructor first. Yeah, that should be static. I kind of guessed that one. But again, for us to do that, we've got to have all the information here to do that, haven't we? So, have we got to realistically go one step further and go something like static connect, and that's going to be there, let's say. And that can again take exactly the same type there. We pass all of that to that. Yeah, the problem is, Fuel Snable, I think we've got to use them in this case. That file is that. Okay, so it's db handle connect file name. And that is a static. Wow, that's a long one there. And have we still got issues here? We've got that one issue. Oh, I don't need to add it to the class. That makes life easier. Okay. Because I can just do that. I can go, well, that's now not that. Let's turn all of that off. And that now all of a sudden isn't in the class. And there we are. That's a winner. Now, what does static mean in C++? Because static doesn't mean the same thing across languages. And I seem to remember that static can mean all sorts of things. Yeah. Okay, we can't just build it all of that in that namespace, so let's say we stuff that all in a namespace. And now what are we moaning about? No appropriate default constructor available. I'm not convinced that. Static means not allowed outside of the... Have I not namespaced this right? Let's take this namespace out for now. So no appropriate default constructors available where? Did I miss a semicolon in the header? I very probably did. I'm good at that. That's probably the semicolon I missed, if I missed one. Okay, so that's up and running. If I go, see if ping's there. Yeah, pong. And come. Okay, that works. Kill that. Refire it back up. Let's try the new command. Okay, so we have working code. And we can now add commands to the bot. And if I refresh our database somehow, let's click that button. Might as well delete those records now, but they're there. Let's write those changes. And we seem to have the very beginnings of a repository built. So we've slightly encapsulated things. Static functions in global scope is 1970s C style. Unnamed namespace is 1990 and later. C++. Okay, so now that we've got this bit working, let's try and get the unnamed namespace. So what does this namespace do that we didn't have previously? Because static means we can't get to it outside the compilation unit. What does this namespace protect us against that we could do before? Oh, we remove static instead. And that essentially is a very similar thing, but done in a better style. I mean, something else that we do need to do, just for good practice, really. Let's stick this all in the correct namespace. And again, let's just make sure that we've got namespaces. Static doesn't work with private classes, unnamed namespaces do. That's good to know. So that's a good reason that if anyone says to me, why should I do that? Anyway, cool. We've got everything back namespaced up. Because that beats us having stuff in the what's it namespace. In the global namespace. Let's not pollute that where we can help it. So let's now suggest that I want to return, let's say I want to pull this out, because all we're doing is we're grabbing, all we're doing here is grabbing the, commands. So if I take that, well, let's comment that out for now. Let's say that what I actually want this to be is commands equals repo.load commands. Let's say that that's actually the usage code that I want to see there. Does that make sense? So instead of declaring the commands up here, where have we got them declared? We've got them there. So let's grab that declaration. So we want to make the repository and then load commands from it. And obviously we've got here a cheat sheet on how we do that. So let's grab those. Let's go into here and go. Is there any way in Visual Studio if I go, I want to define the header in the header and go, oh, I don't know, stud map, stud string, load commands. Is there anything? Right, create the definition in there. Cool. And then we jump across, and as if by magic, it's there. Cool. And what I actually want to do is stuff all of that in. Return commands in there. Stud map of stud string to stud string commands. That fixes that one. Repo now isn't there. It's a this pointer. And this, in theory, should all work. And again, we've just managed to pull out the grabbing of commands and stick them somewhere more interesting. This public's there for a reason. It's essentially, I want to change that to private, and it all work. And yeah, as FuelSnable points out, managed environments do have their own set of problems. one of which being hidden complexity for me. I at least know what's going on a lot more in an unmanaged environment than in a managed one. Yes, I have to do more work to some degree, although, honestly, I'm not convinced that that's true. I'm not convinced I'm doing a fat lot more work here than I do in a managed environment. It's just different. It's something I'm not particularly used to. But I don't think there's anything more. Minxie Rose raises the best point I've seen on stream so far. Yes, please, Minxie Rose, but let's make them not particularly, remember we've got to go out in about half an hour. Yeah, that's a point. Stream is going to have to finish in about half an hour so that we can nip to a shop. But very much yes, please, Minxie Rose. My coffee mug is where it belongs. Modern C++ is okay. The standard library is primarily what's lacking compared to .NET. I agree. My answer to that at the moment seems to be Boost. And to be fair, Boost has got things in that the .NET standard library hasn't. I'm thinking that the string handling in Boost with Spirit is still far superior to anything we have in .NET, even though it doesn't work in release mode for some reason for me. That is something that I need to jump on the C++ Discord and, well, I was going to say Stack Overflow, but that's getting a little bit poisonous these days, so I'm trying to stay off there. But anyway, let's all thank Minxie Rose for being the amazing coffee fairy. And let's fire up a bot. And now if I throw hello into the bot, it doesn't, won't work because it's actually hi. Hi chat. So we're getting the commands out using the repo. I suppose the only other thing that we're using the database for in here is adding. So let's again think about what we actually want this code to look like. And we've already goofed because we forgot to kill this statement off. We forgot to do SQLite 3 finalize add command statement. We forgot to do that. But all of this, well, if I do the semi-smart thing and do that, from line 147, all of this is database nonsense that we don't want to deal with here. What, again, we would love to be able to do, I think, is go something like repo add command, and what are we calling them? Command to add reply. And I think that's all we should have to do. So again, let's grab a copy of that. Let's create the make it void for now. I don't think it'll be void for long. Add command. That takes a pair of strings, name and string reply. And again, let's create that definition and go in there and paste in some code, tidy it up and watch it work, hopefully. So that is now name, that is now name, that is this pointer, and I think that is everything. So in theory, we've now got that dealt with, which means in theory, this is back down to being very, very simple stuff. And maybe we should have the commands come out of there as well. So commands equals repo.add command or whatever. There are arguments for how we add commands. We could make this more functional at some point. I just wanted the code kind of away. I wanted the separation in first. And what we should be able to do, in theory, well, one thing is, do we ever use this function? And we don't. Well, that's a bit silly. That does need to be a thing. And I think I know where that belongs. So let's do that first. So that comes out of there. I mean, again, the fact that I've just taken that out of there and the build will succeed tells me that we made it, we didn't use it. So let's throw it in. For now, again, this probably isn't the right place to put it. Thank you very much, Minxie Rose. We had a Minxie Rose in the room. Yeah, I knew I'd put that chair in a stupid place because I do things like that. Thank you, Muchly. Have we got some cold in it as well? Thank you. There you are. You probably just heard Minxie Rose there. Hi there, Nick Larson. How are you doing? Hope everything is well. Ah, yes. You won't normally catch me on a Saturday. It's normally a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Sunday. Just that Minxie Rose and I are going out tomorrow, and I don't really fancy streaming straight after it. So I'd literally be driving back after a full day out to stream straight away, and that's probably not clever. So okay, we've got this function in here again, SQLite 3 column string, which does that reinterpret cast. So really, name and reply are just those. And yeah, we get to get rid of a layer of brackets as well. Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Minxie Rose. I think everyone can use that command. That's still a Nightbot command. There will be a point at which that stops being a Nightbot command, and we'll take Nightbot out of circulation, hopefully. That'll be nice for us. But again, we're now loading the commands. We've now got an add command in here. So if let's just make sure that we refresh this. Let's try. Let's be slightly brave, actually. Let's now say that we flick this and we go private. Thank you very much, Surly Dev. If you want to drop a link to your Twitter in chat, please do. And I will say to everybody, please do give Surly Dev a follow. And while you're doing that, actually, let me go and send some thank yous out. So, thank yous go to Yakpie, Brendan Matthews, the Grumpy Game Dev, Tobo Nautilus, and Upgrading Dave for your hosts this evening. Thank you all, people. Right, let's carry on after the thank yous. Do you know what? I ought to have sponsors. I could do sponsor spots. This stream is brought to you by a coffee made by Minxie Rose. A most wonderful coffee, hot and very coffee-like, unlike others that I've had commercially. You know what, Surly Dev? Just drop a link. I'm guessing that I know what it is. I'm guessing you use the same name there, but, you know, might as well drop the link. So I've now flipped this to private. So I'm saying that this unique pointer, I don't even want you outside of the class to ever look at. You never need to interact with this DB handle. That's not of interest to you. All you do is you make a repository and pass me a file name, which is a bit of a leaky abstraction. I will accept that there's leakage there, but I don't know how to deal with that. But everything else is just load commands and add command, and I don't think there's any leaky abstraction in that. To the point that I wonder if I could kill that from there, because we don't use it. Let's run this up. Bubblebot is online. If I do add com, and because we've cleared out the custom commands now, I'll stick in okay, pong if you lost. So we've added the command. I'll do bang ping, and it's working there. Let's have a look in our database browser, and it has arrived. We have the command. Excellent. I think as much as it doesn't look like we've added a huge amount, one thing I can say is that if I do a reset, you were keeping it as an intelligence test. To be honest, Surly Dev, I don't think that's a huge intelligence test, in fairness. You know, it's like finding me on Twitter. It's probably it's the same way you'd find me. So anyway, we've just reset the bot, and the ping command that we just added is there. So we've now got a bot that does custom commands. Thank you very much for that follow on Twitter. You did find me there. Most excellent Surly Dev, saying that you had an easier job. You know, Nightbot threw up the link for you. Yeah, but if you failed that, do I really want to talk to them? To be fair, Surly Dev, it's Twitter. Do you want to talk to many people on Twitter? I mean, it's a layer up from Reddit. But the Discord, I'm liking. That's a good question, actually. Are people liking the fact that we're using Discord? Or would people prefer me to look into alternative chat methods? And just call you Surly, first name terms is fine. Why, thank you, Surly. Yeah, Discord's okay for your stable. I think, to be fair, Discord's kind of the de facto way to go. Minx Heroes likes it as well. I mean, to make the joke, I could make an IRC channel somewhere, but, you know, Discord to me feels like a more modern kind of interpretation of IRC. I bet under the covers it uses IRC. Bet it does. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably making bets I can't cash here. Oh well. Yeah, the mobile app is nice, and yeah, you're right. I mean, it uses IRC underneath as well, Surly. That's handy. Well, I have an IRC channel. There's no kinda about it. You know, you're looking at the IRC channel in Twitch, and to be fair, I mean, I don't mind showing you this. I'm using what is essentially an IRC client to connect to it. Because I think that it's better than the web interface at times. So yeah, I don't mind IRC. I quite like it. And Surly's throwing a gist up. Let's have a look at the Surly gist. Yeah, I've done that. I have definitely done that. Which website's that? That's the TMI one. It's the one we all know of. Use the IRC membership capability. That's cool. And yeah, I mean, I used to use HexChat to get on there, but now TC just makes it easier. Are we sure about Discord that it's running IRC? Probably is. It probably is. I know you can bridge them. It may not be. Twitch is definitely IRC. Twitch is IRC. There's no question about it. For anyone that's been following this chat, that's been following these streams, Twitch has to be IRC. Otherwise, most of what we've done doesn't work. Discord isn't IRC. No, it isn't. But you can get gateways that interrupt IRC to Discord. So, you know, like this one. You connect to Discord on one end of it, and it pretends to be an IRC server. So at that point, you could quite easily use something like HexChat or your IRC client of choice to connect to Discord. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that one. Okay, that works. Yeah, someone's built a console-based Discord. That is awesome. We need to play with that at some point. Anyway, I think we can quite proudly say that we've implemented that feature tonight. So we now have a way for me and a mod to add commands to the bot when it's running, and it all works nice and happily. And we've even gone as far as to abstract it out so that we've got a command repository. That's cool. I think given that we've managed that tonight, that is fantastic. Minxie Rose, exclamation point in front of the adcom. And I'm going to kill off that daft ping command. Exclamation mark in front of the adcom and try it again. And it should help a little bit. Okay, so if I have a look there now. Right, changes. Oh, it might not have properly added because I've been playing about in here. I might have accidentally demolished that. Yeah, let me respin the bot. I goofed there. So let's try that command again. Yeah, do me a favour, re-add that command please, Minxie Rose. I want to make sure that this does work for you. Because, yeah, I clobbered it with my not knowing how to use a database browser for SQLite. In essence, I think at some point we're going to have remove com as well in here. There you are, so it's added. Cool. We now have commands and Minxie Rose succeeded in adding one. Right, I think with that we're going to head off from here. I'm going to go across here. I shall be back on Tuesday night. Not sure whether we're going to work on the bot or whether I'm going to move across to something else. Probably bot again, to be fair, because that's getting a lot of traction and there's a lot more we need to do. Thank you for the raid call, Minxie Rose, because I need to copy it because I don't have it copied down. Let's go and give someone a raid, shall we? What's Codephobia streaming? Codephobia is streaming Rust. Well, do you know what? We've got to go and raid a Rust streamer, haven't we? Let's go and do that right now. When we get across there, please be wonderful people, as I know that everyone here is. Let's be awesome. Let's why is that not working? Let me go here. Code phobia, that's the one. Right, let's drop a quick raid across there. Have a good one. We'll get back to Eat Food Berries. We'll probably do some functional programming in C++. Let's be honest. We can. Anyway, let's go and have a go and raid. Like I say, Codephobia. Let's all be wonderful people. Remember our raid calls, and I will see you all on Tuesday night probably. See you in a bit, folks.